So today, this is the things we'll be covering. We are going to talk about what UI UX is and their differences. We are going to be talking about design thinking process. This is where everything happens. Design thinking process. We are going to be designing in Figma. I'm sure everybody have Figma on the laptop, right? And we've watched the basics of like Figma and that I uploaded on my YouTube channel, right? Which we are going to be prototyping. We are going to be talking about career and next step, and of course, question and answer. Let's get into it. Now, look at this chart very well. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? How many of us think MTS 101 set, right? Set. Can you interpret what you can see here? Do you understand what this is? Like set theorem, intersect, union, all those kind of things. So when you look at this diagram very well, US is the bigger circle, UI is just inside, is embedded inside the US. So what this means is when you are creating a product, the overall experience that the user derives or gets from that product is the UX, the user experience. And it's not just for digital products, maybe your clothes, your car, your house. Imagine you want to walk through this door, right? And when you open this door, it goes up instead of coming sideways. That's a bad experience, right? That's what user experience is all about. And UI design is just a fraction of UX because your UX is not complete until there's an interface. So UI means user interface and UX means user experience, right? Are you? Yeah. So your product is not complete until there's an interface that users can interact with. That's where UI comes in. And graphic design, how many of you are graphic designers today? You'll be very good here because this is where you use your color, your fonts, your lines, your pictures. You'll be very good here. But this guy here requires a lot of work. We'll get there. So looking at the left side, that's where you have everything that pertains to US, your information architecture. Information architecture is just how you structure your information or your content on your website and everything. Which one takes priority, which one comes after, which one should be big, which one should be small, which one should have like a sharp color and all the rest. Wireframe is just you trying to sketch different ideas to see which one works. It's not the actual thing, but just for you to see what it might look like. The user need. So understanding user needs. As a UX designer, you need to understand what the user needs, what they want, right? Because those are the people you are designing for. If you give me a product I don't want, I won't use it and you won't make money. Simple. So that's why you see some businesses they fail after some years because nobody wants them again, right? Now we have interviews. Interviews are just a way to interact with users to know what they want, to get to understand them. So without interview, you can't understand what the user wants or what their needs are. And you have usability testing. Usability testing is just you testing your products. Because you might think your product is world class, and the user sees it and be like, this is not working. I say it's working with my phone now, but the user will not with your phone. Sorry. So then you have user research. User research is also a way of understanding what the user wants, what has been done before, what can be done better, and likes. And on this side, like I said, graphic designers will be good here. UI design is all about the color, the typography, the icons, image, layout, navigation, button, spacing, etc. So UI design is an integral part of UX design. So when it comes to US, you have the face of you have some people that are researchers. All you do is research, right? You have some people, even in US design, you have developers because your product is not complete until it's developed, right? So it's a whole lot of process. And you see some products, they have sound. How many of you are familiar with things? Okay, Snapchat. There's a way your Snapchat sounds when somebody snaps you something, and you know that this is Snapchat. But there's a way your phone beeps when a WhatsApp message comes in, and this is WhatsApp. So these are part of the experience. People actually sit down and be like, okay, let's make it sound like this. It should be different from Snapchat, it should be different, so that people identify what is what. Moving forward, now in general, think of UI as the look of the products, the appearance, how it looks. And I'm going to explain it in a bit. Why you think why you think US as the feel of the product, how it feels. So let me give you a scenario. You are fine babe, you see this Yoruba demon, fine guy, looking good. That's the UI of the guy. You are attracted to the guy. But when it comes to the feel, this guy is always showing you shady. He's always showing you pepe. But it's fine. You're attracted to him. But his character is not good. So that means it looks good, the UI is fine, but the US is bad. And most times, when the UI is good and the US is bad, the product is bad overall. I can't stay with you, right? Same thing for guys. You see a girl, she's very pretty, she's fine, she has all the figures and everything. But anytime you are together like this, you'll be peace like this. So the UI is fine, but the US is bad. Do we get that? The same way with your building. So think of the look as what you can see, the color, the furniture, and everything. But look at the US as where is the door placed? Is it easy for me to climb the stairs? Is it for me to open the door? Is the ventilation coming in? All of those things. Those are the US. If they are not done properly, probably say I can't stay in this house, I have to move out. Even though it's looking fine. Do you get? But if they feel the US is good and the UI is bad, most time people stays around. People stay. It's not like a lady, the guy has money, he has good character and everything, but it's not that fine. You can still cope, you can still manage, Abby, right? Ladies, right? So you can say like, it's not bad, it's not bad. I mean, it makes you happy, it makes you laugh, the guy is funny, and like, so it's not bad, let me stay. So sometimes when the US is good and the UI is bad, user can still stay. Just like maybe let me use an app now, maybe, I don't want to mention it, but an app that can send money, you can receive money, everything is fine. Even though the interface is not fine, but it sends money, you receive money, you will still stay around. But if it's looking good, it's fine. And anytime you want to send money, your money is always hanging. You probably don't have products. So in most cases, when the US is good and the UI is bad, people can still stick around. But if you can design a product that has both a good UI and US, you are going to beat your competitors. So you have to aim to get both correctly. Is that okay? Are we together? Yes. Are we together? Yes. So the goal of UI is to make the product visually appealing, like let people like it, let it be attractive, let it call attention, right? And the goal of US is to make the product useful, usable, and enjoyable. So when people are using it, and I think one thing their product is on this table. Every market woman uses them. Even me, I use them. We know that product, but I will not call the product. But they have both good UI and UX. So now let's talk about the design thinking process. So we have 5 steps in this process. We have the empathize, we have the define, we have ideate, prototype, and test. Empathize is when you understand the user, right? You put yourself in the user's shoes, like just like maybe when somebody maybe misplace something, or like you can feel their pain, right? That's what empathize me, like, oh, this user want to get this thing, like, okay. You try to understand them. That's what empathize is. Because if you don't understand the user, if you create any product, you are doing guesswork because the user might not like it. Divine. This is identifying the core problem. After you've interacted with them, they've explained their issues with you, you now bring all those raw information and data. You now create something meaningful out of it. You are able to pinpoint or spotlight the problem. Do you get it now? Like they say a whole lot of things to you. Oh, my business is this, my business is that. But at the end of the day, you're able to figure that, oh, the marketing of this person is not working well. That is where divine is, where you're able to identify the problem, right? So when you identify the problem, that's a step in the right direction for you to create like a solution. Remember, you can create a solution if you don't know the problem. Okay. Now the next one is ideas. Now you know the problem. Now you know the problem. It's now left for you to come up with a solution for the problem, right? So you begin to think about different ways to solve that problem. Maybe as a creative, you have problem of saving or sending money abroad. Maybe you have a foreign client. Now you are looking for an app that can collect maybe rupee from a client in India. That's a problem. And that's where all this fintech company comes in, right? So you have a bunch of them that allows you to receive money abroad, even when some of them are not functioning in Nigeria because of some regulations. But that's the problem. Or probably you go to a country and they don't speak English. And you need to, and maybe you are walking through a door and they call it their trap and it's written in Chinese and you can't read it and you're walking right through it. So when you are going to a country like that, you probably need an app that can translate for you or something. Now, this third stage is where you generate ideas to solve this problem. And these ideas are not just probably, you have to research. If I'm going to send money to somebody in Kenya spend shillings as their money. So you need to collaborate with people. So if I'm to send naira, will you go through the bank? Will you go through the road change? Like there's so many parties involved. So you need to understand the end to end of the the solution you're trying to build. But then you have to be creative about how do I solve this problem, right? Now the next one is prototype. This prototype is different from the prototype that you know in Figma. Prototype is just you building a prototype. If you are close to architectural students, you know what they call it a model. So a model is just like a paper representation of the building. It's not built yet, but you can see what it looks like. Right? So that's what prototype here means. For you to come up with ideas and let's prototype it and see if it's actually going to work. Right? So it involves wireframe, your high fidelity design, prototype itself, and like test. This is where your ideas are put to test. And when you are testing, you don't test it yourself, you test with real users, people that are going to use that product. You can't be testing in your room, you can't be testing with your friend. Do you like it? You know, if you are building a product for people that wants to do a job, to collect a job for people, you have to actually go and meet people that are interested in that job and ask them, test this thing, put your money, and let's see if it's going to work. All right. So you and now I put a comment here. Design thinking isn't linear. It's not straightforward. Oh, you have to move from empathize to divine to ideate. Sometimes you can jump from empathize to ideate. You can go from prototype and go back to empathize. It's not straightforward, this thing. So maybe after you test your product and you discover it's not working, and maybe the solution or the problem you think is the problem is not the problem. Now you have to come back to this guy. So it's the back and forth. It's not straight. Do you get that point now?
Yes.
All right, let's move forward. Now let's go through this process one by one. We are trying to create a travel and lifestyle mobile application for people that wants to maybe travel, they want to like, we don't think that bad. I need to explore, I need to check what other places look like. But then you don't know how to go about it. Now I've done my research, right? And I've discovered these pain points. There's information overload, there's time constraints, and it's like guidance. So information overload is you are hearing different things here and there. To go to China, you have to do, you don't even know what to do, you are confused. And there's time constraints, maybe you are very busy with work and this, you don't have time to be checking all of those things. And there's lack of guidance, like this is the first time you want to travel. you don't really know anything and you don't want people to scam you. So those are the pain points. Now, after I've gotten those informations from the users, we are in the next phase, define. So define is for me to come up with, like, understand what the core problem is, right? Now, under define, we call something a user persona. So see this as a user persona where you pick somebody as a typical user of that product, right? So if I'm going to build a product, say an electric car, I have to look for somebody or imagine somebody that can use an electric car. A civil servant can use an electric car if they are not doing dirty work, right? Because how much is your salary? In this country, I'm not talking about elsewhere. So you probably won't use a civil servant as your persona, right? You look for somebody, maybe an executive at Google, and and do you get what I'm trying to say? You picture who your typical user are. So now we have Adekemi, she's 26. She's a fashion entrepreneur. She lives in Lagos, and this is who she is: a young fashion entrepreneur, spends most of her time managing clothing brand. She dreams of exploring the world, but I mean, she's always busy and she doesn't know how much to budget. If I want to go to Singapore now, how much should I budget? The lead does not know. She has to like start looking for information here and there. What if we can build a product for her that contains all the information she needs? So maybe a country that you can go and in Nigeria, like visa free. There's some countries you can go that you don't need visa. All you need to do is pack your bag, your flights, travel. Places like China, places like I think Kenya is visa free now too. So just pack your bag, book your flights, and go. So you can put that in the options for them. Or maybe countries that is visa on arrival. So you can go, but you have to get visa when you get to the airport, right? But you can still go. And you have some that you have to get your visa before you go. So if she has all those information, she'll be able to plan properly. And maybe to go to Ghana is also maybe you need 500K. The app will tell you, oh, average you, this is the amount you will need to go to from Ghana to our flow, right? So that's what she means. This is the goal, and this is the problem statement. So when you are creating your persona, these are some of the key things that needs to be there, and these are the things that will drive your decision, your design decisions. Are we okay? Good. Now let's go to the next step, which is ideas. So this is the part you sketch the interface. What should it look like? Should it be a big image of Kenya, or should we just put in different countries? It's up to you. And now at this phase, don't try and look for the perfect idea, because when you start, you won't get a full-fledged idea. You have to refine till you get. So don't think about perfection here. Think quantity over quality here. Just do as many as possible, I guess. There's design sprints. So design sprints is common when you work with a team. So when you work in a team, you have engineers, you have product managers, you have QAs are quality assurance. So quality assurance are people that when you build your product, they will tell you if what was designed and what was built is actually same, right? To avoid the case of what we order versus what we get. So let's assume I design a product and the button is red, and when the engineers are done with their work, they put green, it will not flag. I want to flag it that this is not what it should look like. Those are keywords. So there are many fits when it comes to tech and building a product, right? So everybody can come together and brainstorm on how we should go about this. Because remember, I said when you're building a product, there's a long chain. It's not just designers. So I work in a freelance company, right? So if you're going to build this thing, it has a lot of in-betweens that one person do not know. So maybe you want to do your verification. How should we do the verification? Should we use phone number? Should we use email? Should we just use facial recognition? So if you're going to use facial recognition, who are the people you talk to? As a designer, you probably don't know, but your engineers or your PA knows how you go about that. And there's a way you link your this here to your your maybe if you use Carrywise or Piggy or all these fintech, there's a way you link your BVN, and from your BVN, when you are doing that BVN, they capture your face. So when you are doing your facial recognition, it's going to link your current face with the face in your BVN to see if they are the same. And there are companies that handle that. You don't know this, but your engineers know them. So that's when you are trying to build a product, you have to involve everybody, because some things that you do not know, maybe at first you are thinking, oh, let's use phone number as means of identification. Then your PM will say, oh, I work in this so company, phone number does not work. Let's use this other way. So that will change the ideas or the design you were trying to do initially. So that's why design sprint is always encouraged, where you gather everybody and everybody drop their 2 cents. We have mind mapping, we have mood board. Mood board is when you create like a visual inspiration of how you want it to look. You can pick screenshot of the different things, maybe a picture of a play, picture of maybe apps that have been built before and everything, just to guide the direction you're going with. So the next one is prototype. This is where you draw your wireframe, you build mockup. Mockup is high fidelity, like add all the colors, the images and everything. And you have clickable prototype. Let's move on. Now, I've gone to the lab, I've done everything, and I come up with this wireframe. This is how I draw a wireframe. So wireframe are skeleton of the app itself. No color, no text, just shapes, lines. Some people add text in some places to like, so when they are presented to you, you know what you are looking at. So here, I've added title to say maybe these are fake countries, or the title can be, I don't know what the title is, but I just feel like there should be a title here. These are the feeds, just like when you're scrolling to Instagram, you see different. So you see maybe this is Kenya, this is Ghana, like that, and you have your navigation, what's it called? Bar. Now, when you click on this guy, it's going to open up this page. That's the idea. So, and this is going to be an image also. There's going to be details here, and there's going to be places. So places are places in the countries that you can go to enjoy yourself. So let me go to what country can I use? I've mentioned kind of too much. Let's use Japan. So what are the places, what are the activities you can do there? You're not just going to sit down in your hotel room and just waste your money. I remember the last time when me and my friend traveled, this boy just wants to sit down. Like, we spend too much money to come and sit down. You can't allow my money to waste. All right, so this is what the wireframe looks like. And you can test your products without adding colors. You can test your product like this. So it makes the work faster for everybody. So when the stakeholder sees this, I'm like, okay, let's review this. And now we've reviewed, or let's see testing. So testing, we have usability testing, observation and feedback, and iterate. You iterate based on the feedback you've gotten. So you don't iterate based on your own head knowledge. So once they've given you feedback, that's what we inform the last guy. So now we've tested my initial wireframe and they've given me feedback. And now this is what I have. Hope and spot some changes here. I'm not going back to the last slide.
The first slide was
the
first one.
Okay. All right. So the title turns to categories that you can swipe left and right. So maybe this one is all, maybe this one is visa free, maybe this one is visa on arrival, maybe this one is trending. I mean, sometimes you have countries that are trending. There was a time Qatar was trending, everybody was going to Qatar. There was a time it was Zanzibar, everybody was going to Zanzibar. So if you're that type, you can follow the trend. So depending on how you want to do it, so that's the feedback they've given me. I said, let's trim the header to categories so that people can select, and depending on which is selected, this guy changes, right? And instead of a single column feed, we have double. So now you have to accommodate a lot of options for you. And then we move here. And the only thing that changes here is this button here. So in case somebody wants to bookmark, oh, I like this place, let me see this somewhere. And let me keep looking for other options, right? I mean, I've been to country, so I don't know if to lose track of the one that I really like. So yeah, do you get the concept of design now? So from here now, this is the assignment for you. I've done this guy for you. You, world class designers, turn this into a high fidelity design. What I mean high fidelity is, but we still go through Figma. So I'm just telling you what you will do after we've done that, right? So these categories, filter, add the color. And another thing to note is, you see this one is darker than this one. Who knows what it means? Exactly. So that user can know which is selected, because those are part of UX, right? So we know which one is being selected. This line here, I forgot to label this one. This is actually the name of the country. So if you put a picture here, let's say F2R, and you put Singapore there, you are misleading people, because I mean people are familiar with that structure. So put F2R here, put Paris here. Your text is not compulsory, your text is on the image. It can be below it down. It's up to you how you want to do it. But the assignment here is, let me transform this guy into high fidelity design. What high fidelity means, add the text, add the images, have everything, let it look like a proper app. Do it? Do it? Are we on? Okay, go ahead.
The former prototype you showed us. Can you also test that with your users?
Yes.
Is it done?
Yeah, you can.
Like how do they understand that? So,
Don't worry, we get there. We get there. So, all right. Now, we take a break, drink some water, talk to people. I mean, ask them for their names, their social media handle, interact with people, get to know them. And when we are coming back, we are going to start working.